Well, tell me about your grandparents.
You want to know about my grandma?
Yeah.
my mom and my pop and my grandma.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. My grandma on my mom's side just parties hard all the time. She's wild. Joni, shout out to
Okay.
Joni. What's up, Joan? Yeah,
Sweet.
I never met my my grandpa, because of the effects of Vietnam, because he killed
Oh,
himself after Vietnam.
PTSD.
Yeah, cool war
Sad.
that we went to. Totally worth it. Awesome country we have. God, this is just pour over from the conversation we just had. I'm just like angry at the
Right.
entire country. Everything's wrong. God, no. Never been scared of my grandparents though. They never freaked me out.
No, no, not like the movie we're going to talk about today.
Whew, a visit.
Today we are talking about The Visit.
Yes. So excited to talk about this movie.
Came out in 2015. Horror comedy.
I would say horror comedy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. It's got some funny bits. He churns them out, huh? M. Night. He just every 2 years, 3 years max.
He stays busy.
He stays busy.
He does stay busy.
Hopefully he's got his groove back 100% and he can just keep churning out the quality. But yeah, there was that moment where he kept staying busy, and I was like, maybe it's time for a break.
Just ease off a little bit.
Go on vacation for
You don't have to go with the first script you see.
No. Yeah. So we're talking The Visit today. But before we get into The Visit, we should do a little movie segment, right? Or should I introduce the podcast? That probably would be a really good place to start.
Let's start with the introduction.
Brent and I started talking about the stupidity of Americans when it comes to the vaccine, and I'm very worked up all of a sudden. So I'm a little bit scrambled. So I will now introduce the show you're currently listening to. Welcome to Film School Dropouts. This is a movie podcast. Each season we cover a director's full filmography, and we are covering currently, this is what, our third season? Yeah, third season.
Yep.
And we are covering the films of M. Night Shyamalan.
Yep. And this is a pretty decent one. I'm pretty excited to talk about
comeback.
This one today.
It's the comeback movie.
This is the rejuvenation of his career.
I want to pose a quick question up top.
Sure.
Are there any major directors working today? I would say I don't want to talk about the whole of film, of the entirety of film as a medium or anything, but keep it as an M. Night contemporaries. Are there any major directors working today who have had the terrible lows that M. Night had and then was able to legitimately turn that into a comeback? Because some directors, you love them and you're like, wow, they're so fucking good. But then, they start to lose their shine a little bit and then they don't really ever come back from it.
I see what you're saying. As far as lows, I after the little stint we just went through, I feel like it's going to be tough for any director to equal those lows.
Sure. Yeah. The only other director I can think of, and I mean, this is just because I was just thinking about this director earlier today, but Barry Sonnenfeld, he did the two Addams Family movies, Men in Black, and then he just sort of hit a wall at some point, and now he can't create good movies, and he's basically stopped making movies is the thing. So there are directors out there who I feel like George Lucas, actually, that's a really good one. I mean, he's the creator of let me take that back. He's the creator of the biggest franchise of all time, and he made his three, movies, as his return to filmmaking, the prequel trilogy. Hasn't made a movie since. So there are some directors who hit a wall and they're not able to get their groove back, and they're not able to, or they just quit altogether. And I think it's really commendable what M. Night has done with this later half of his career where we're in right now, where he's kind of figured out a new phase that he can work in, and it totally works.
George Lucas also has a big problem with going back and messing with his old stuff.
Very true. Yeah.
And it's I saw I think a poster today for they're doing the Justice League, the restore the Snyderverse or whatever, but they're doing the David Ayer Suicide Squad. And why?
No, you don't need
it. I hate that. It's you can't polish a turd.
You can't. I know. There's nothing you can do to make that movie decent.
Oh, God. And it's that's just a waste of money, HBO. What are you doing?
I don't know.
It's because that movie still made a decent amount of money.
It's because that they have that movie made a ton of money, but they have that rabid fucking DC fan base. It's not even DC. I would say it's literally just the Snyder fan base, and anything to do with Snyder movies has this weird cultish fan base online and shit. And it's such a weird thing to be devoted to because it's not good. It's just so bizarre to me. I'm just none of this works.
Yeah, it's not good.
We don't need
It's
to
a
get
way
into it, but
no, yeah. There's a billion HBO like DC, like now the HBO is
right.
like just diving, and it's like, wait a minute, I didn't CW do this like a decade ago, and
Yep.
it's just,
And they're still doing it. Yeah.
oh
It's weird.
man.
It's messy over there. It's messy over there at DC, but God, I love them. Yeah. So
Like, and they have my two favorite superheroes too.
they've got most of my favorite superheroes.
I know. Well, yeah, you're a big Flash guy too.
Yeah. I love DC, but you know, I don't know. Can't win them all. But yeah, I just think that that's fascinating. You know, it's commendable. That's all. I just think it's really like it kind of it sort of inspires me a little bit. Like this guy kind of fucked up and lost basically everything that made him special, and he was able to rebound. That's so cool. And we're going to talk about it right now. But first, we're going to do our little movie segment.
All right. Well, this is kind of, you know, it's not really, it's, you know, back in the day, none of it was really genre bound. But since we are talking about The Visit today, you know, a horror movie, this movie is from 1945.
Oh, yes.
It's by director
Brent, going way back.
Yeah. I actually watched this movie with my grandpa, like one of the last full movies I actually got to watch with him.
Okay.
So it kind of stays with me, but it's directed by Albert Lewin. Lewin. It's called A Picture of Dorian Gray.
Oh, sure. Dorian Gray.
Yeah,
I've never seen the movie.
It's classic movie, classic story, classic tale, whatnot. Everyone knows the premise. You know, it's rich, you know, elegant man basically makes a deal, sells his soul, and so this painting that is painted of him, he stays young on the outside, but for all his transgressions that he goes through, all his sinning and whatnot,
it all gets like transferred onto the painting.
It's all in the reflection, or it's all in that painting. And there's to this day, there's still a pretty cool end to that movie.
I'll have to check that movie. I've never seen the actual movie. I know the story.
Good. Yeah,
I think I read the book once, but
it's well acted. And the main guy, I forget his name, but he, you know, he's kind of just like eerily good looking, and it's just, I don't know, it's cool. But
yeah,
check it out. Picture of Dorian Gray. And if you can't check it out, read the book, because the book's also good. So
right, yes, such a cool concept. Yeah, and he can't look at the portrait or he'll, you know, revert or whatever. Yeah, it's so good.
Pretty cool. Great climax for a 1945 film.
Love it.
The payoff is very solid. So
love it. All right. Well, I'm gonna bring one today. I would love to cover this director, but I would be asking way too much of you and our audience. So if this is another one where I'm just like, give me a second to talk about this guy really quick, and then we'll move on, and like I won't make you guys do this. But 1991 Taiwanese new wave drama.
I knew it was going to be an Asian film.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. Asia makes the best fucking movies on the planet, man. Oh no, Edward Yang. This is an Edward Yang picture. He tragically died in, I think, 2000, right after his freaking well, he has like 3 opuses, but like he tragically died after his 7th film. I think he lost a battle with cancer. But the movie I'm talking about is called A Brighter Summer Day, and it is 4 hours long, and it is fucking incredible. It's basically just the story set in the 60s in Taiwan of this one boy in his school, and he sort of hangs out with these 2 like warring street gangs, and you just don't, it's like The Outsiders, but like done by like an indie drama director, where you're like, I guess I didn't think about like Taiwan in the 60s probably had street gangs too. And sure. The movie's incredibly like intimate. Like, even though it's 4 hours long, it feels like this tiny little like personal movie. Bit of a true crime film too. Like it's just, it's got everything. And yeah, I don't know. I watched it. Well,
I mean, 4 hours long. I think it would have everything in it. Like, what is
yeah. Well, I mean, not like literally everything. It's not, you know, but yeah, no, 4 hours. There's a lot in it. There's a lot going on in that movie. But I just want to like wax poetic about Edward Yang. Like, he makes movies that are so like simple. He'll just sort of make a drama. And the thing that's beautiful about his movies is he's such a compassionate filmmaker that he will just stop the film anytime he feels that it's time to like spend time with the character. He'll just introduce like, okay, this is the character's aunt, and now we're going to spend like 15 minutes just following the aunt, because like that's what the movie needs right now. And we're just going to live in the moment with these characters. And it's not about like, oh, what's the plot? You know, like where are these characters going to end up? he's never worried about that. He's always worried about just like, if I'm going to introduce a character to you, I want you to feel that they're as important to me as they should be. And it's like, it's just really, it's charming every time it happens. You're like, okay, well, that's the main character over there. And now I've been spending, 10 minutes with his best friend's mom. And I care so much about her now. And it's all important, which is why his movies are so long, but so worth it. Anyways, the movie's called A Brighter Summer Day. It's wonderful.
Fully fleshed out characters. No, I love that.
Absolutely.
I actually kind of think that's one of the strengths of TV is because you get you can branch off and focus.
Yeah, that is kind of right. That is sort of one of the benefits of having long form media.
Now, last episode we did talk a little bit about TV. I just got to throw this out there. I it's not Squid Game. I watched that. Everyone's going crazy about that. That's
so funny to me that it's like that you could just so nonchalantly just be like, yeah, I watched that. Like, how many episodes was that?
I want to say 8 or whatnot.
8 hours?
Yeah, I binged it. Yeah,
it's so funny. It's so funny. Anyways,
it wasn't bad, and all it made me think is like, damn, Korea is stepping up their fucking game.
No. You're wrong. Korea's always had their fucking game on point.
Well,
we are just now being exposed to it.
That sure, but the fact
I don't know if I've talked to you about my theory that like the Oscars giving Parasite Best Picture is like, oh no, they've opened a gate they can't close because now they have to acknowledge how good like Korea and Japan and Taiwan are at making movies. Yeah. It's like
I only mentioned Squid Game because it is transcendent because it became Netflix's highest watched film or show. So it's like number 1 now. So that if that's not
out of nowhere,
welcoming, but that's not even what I want to talk about. Netflix put out this limited series called Midnight Mass.
Oh yeah, Mike Flanagan's new show.
Yep, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, nice. I've heard good things.
The first 2 episodes were incredible. It kind of derails a little bit because just because I'm loving this mystery. It's set on an island of 127 people, so it's like already a cool setting. But it kind of devolves into a vampire story, which I love vampires. I was loving the mystery of it all. And Hamish Linklater, he's basically a TV guy. He's done a few things. He's incredible in it. And it just, I loved it and it's great. But that's my little bit for the TV.
Cool. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Well, it's time to go to Grandma and Grandpa's house.
They're weird during the day.
I was just cleaning it.
And even weirder at night?
There's something wrong with Nana and Papa.
They're just old. Bear with it for a couple of days.
Nana, you okay? They're hiding something.
It's just the end of your trip.
I'm sad it's all over. I'm gonna get you.
Papa!
Let's make it a perfect night.
What is that? Mom, you need to come right now.
Oh, how many times have you seen this movie?
3.
This is my second time.
I like this movie a lot. I think this movie's fun.
So I got to talk about before we even get in this movie. I have a particular fear.
Oh, okay. I'm fascinated. I'm in.
Right. And I need to discuss it before we get into this because it is very prevalent in this movie.
Oh God, what is it?
And it doesn't have to be an old person, but I think that might have amplified it a little bit. But whenever there's something low to the ground and moving very fast.
Oh, that scene is chilling.
Maybe because I'm 6'4" and I can't.
Sure, you've got the elephant problem where it's like, oh no, a mouse runs by and it's like, I can't see it. What's going on down there?
Sure,
you're too high up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that going on in this movie.
See, I'm low to the ground. I've got my eye on everything. I can kind of duck and dive, and I can get out the way quick.
It's one of the few things that like my cousin Rob he'll like the lights will be off and then he'll come like real low and make
that is
little
freaky.
noises. No, I run it's just one of those things that gets me going. And it's
yeah. There is a chilling scene in this movie that features what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Well, she books
it.
Oh, there's a couple times,
Yeah.
and one scene in particular, but
Woo.
yeah.
All right.
So
Let's talk The Visit. Let's talk The Visit.
Let's talk The Visit.
All right. Did you see this in theaters?
No.
Me either. I missed this one. I thought I'd seen all of his movies in theaters, but I was thinking about it. I honestly think this one almost, I didn't even know it came out or something like that. Regardless, I mean, even though it was a huge hit, but like,
was it a big hit? Let's look at the gross
Yeah.
revenue.
This thing made almost $100 million.
$98.5 million
Yeah.
for the gross revenue.
Yep.
Let's look at
Let's look at that budget. $5 million.
Yeah, I mean,
This movie is a colossal hit.
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes 68% with the critics, 51% with the audience. So yeah, these are substantially better than his last few.
Absolutely.
So,
and now here's another thing.
M. Night.
Oh God, I guess I don't want to make this a long episode because I'm exhausted, but I'm gonna have to talk about things. So I think that M. Night, after his 4 movies that we just talked about, the shit streak, as I've referred to it in past episodes. Very rude of me, but it's what it is, guys. I think that he just has a bad stink about him now. I think that people see his name and kind of giggle at this point, and roll their eyes, like he's just like one of the people who, oh God, this guy again. So I don't want to be casting aspersions or anything like that, but I think people unfairly just automatically don't like M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, to be fair, he did lay 4 eggs in a row.
Right, but now he's throwing straight heat, and people still are kind of like, kind of sucks.
Is it heat? We'll have to see when we get to this episode. And
sure.
Even with Devil, I don't know. It's not.
I like Devil.
Is it heat or is it like a simmer? It's. Like,
I think it's heat.
It's like, I don't know. We'll see. I think the criticism are justified, especially after Lady in the Water, when you see written, directed,
garbage, bad,
produced,
garbage and bad.
Yeah,
but you go and look up the Rotten Tomatoes score of Old, and I'm like, guys, seriously? Like, what did you hate? Why are we hating on this movie? What do you guys want from him at this point? So I don't know. I just don't know it.
Is that bad?
That movie has terrible reviews. I
don't like that. Yeah,
I love that movie. So, but we'll get to that in a couple episodes. We're getting close to the end of M. Night.
We are.
You and I only have 2 more episodes to record.
I didn't know it was that close, but that's kind of exciting. I want to talk about the cast. M. Night goes right back to his bread and butter. He gets a couple of kid actors. Yep. He's been successful with them. I don't know these 2 kid actors. If you want to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, Ed Oxenbould and oh man, I just had her name in front of me. I feel like a dummy for putting that away. But Ed Oxenbould and Olivia DeJonge
that works.
They're both Australian actors. He said that he auditioned like tons and tons of kids for this, and he just went to Australia, and these kids were exactly what he was looking for. Which leads me to believe that they're in real life, they must be the 2 most annoying fucking kids on the planet, because that's what they were in this movie. But oh well.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with the girl as much as I did with the rapping kid.
Okay, the rapping kid is a problem. He is a problem for me. Thankfully, like, because basically the girl, she's like an uppity, she uses big words to sound smarter.
Sure.
She's insecure. She's whatever. And the boy is unfortunately reminded me a lot of my little brothers. And I was just like, God, the fucking like machismo of like a 12-year-old boy who's like, hasn't even gone through puberty yet, and they're like, oh, I'm a cool rapper and all the girls love me, and I'm like, you've never met a girl. Like, I had to talk to my brother. I'm 10 years older than my brother, so like I had to deal with that shit from a distance, so so thankfully the good thing about this movie is as soon as the like stakes of the movie kick in, basically all of that falls away, and it's not they're no longer annoying, but
sure, man,
right in the beginning, they really shove it down your throat how fucking annoying these kids are. Anyways, Ed Oxenbould, little kid, he plays Tyler, T Diamond Stylus. Okay. I don't know Olivia DeJonge. I don't know if she's been in much after this movie. Nothing that I can really speak on. But I will say, as much as I hated Ed Oxenbould in this movie, the little boy, I just want to give him a quick shout out because he is in Paul Dano's only directorial film, Wildlife, with Jake Gyllenhaal, Carey Mulligan, and Bill Camp. He's the lead of the movie. He's like the main kid of the movie. He's
that's
he's outstanding.
Good cast too.
Great movie. Yeah. Yeah, Paul
Sweet.
Dano
Sweet.
and his wife wrote it, and like he directed it. Great movie, but he's really good in Wildlife. So I don't want anyone to watch this movie and think that he's the worst actor in the world. He's great in Wildlife.
Well, that's the thing. I say this in almost every M. Night movie. M. Night gets what he wants. Like he makes these characters. So he wanted that kid to be an annoying little rapping shit. Yeah. That's what he got. You know,
it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So I'm not blaming the actors.
Like, I guess I don't blame the actor. You're right, because it is all on M. Night for him to like put all that shit in there.
Yeah, this is his baby. We do get the lovely Catherine Hahn.
Oh, just
right here.
Just Catherine Hahn doing exactly what she does best, which is way more work than she needs to do. Like she is in like what 7 minutes of this movie altogether, maybe 10, and she's basically just playing like the concerned mother. And she's outstanding.
Yeah, right off the bat, the movie opens with her talking to the camera, and you get this at this point, it's patented M. Night exposition where it's just like you're learning so much from just this opening.
Right.
And it's great.
Well,
I love it.
So, and then the other two are Deanna Dunnigan, who plays Mom Nana, and then Peter McRobbie, who plays Pop. They're both great.
And that's it. That's the whole cast, pretty much.
I mean, a couple other people like show up. But nothing too big. So a couple things about this movie before we dive into the plot. It is technically a found footage movie.
My first note right there, found footage. I think this is obviously it is our first found footage. Yeah, this is when that craze was going on. How do you feel about found footage movies?
They're fine. I don't know. Like there is an undeniable element of like creepiness to a found footage horror movie.
Absolutely, because you're supposedly seeing what you're literally going through the steps. Well, in this case, because they're walking around with the camera the whole time, you're kind of seeing and going through it with the characters, and that is a very inventive. I love that concept. That's cool. It works. But it also leads to very big, like logical leaps, like why the camera would bounce back and not stay on, obviously. Yeah. So, I mean, that's annoying, but I guess that comes with the territory.
But I think the cool thing about this movie that sets it apart from other found footage movies is that it's technically a mockumentary more than anything. Because the big leap in logic you have to make when watching this movie is that you are watching a finished documentary film made by a teenage girl.
Oh, okay.
So it has a little bit more form than a found footage movie does. Found footage movies are typically like really shaky, really like sporadic and crazy, and like, oh my god, what's over here, and like, oh, the camera dropped. This movie is way more. It has way more of a format to it because it's made by a girl who has two nice cameras, which is that was also another smart touch. Like, just give her two cameras, like that makes sense. And it's way more of her. Like, I mean, there's scenes in the movie of her literally editing the movie in her bed at night. Like she's literally putting this all together. And what we're supposed to be watching is the final film, which is a weird thing to have just been made, but whatever.
I mean, it does bring an aspect of disbelief, the fact that all this is happening and the camera is still rolling. And it's like, like obviously you're going to run for your life and throw the damn camera. But
yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's kind of fun in the beginning, like especially when things start to get creepy, because you're like, okay, there's no reason for her to like freak out, and she doesn't, and like she's still being a good filmmaker technically about the whole thing. But I mean, at the end, she's using the fucking camera to like break the door handle off the door. Like it all kind of comes into play. But yeah, it's a little bit more formed than like a normal found footage movie, which I think it sets it apart a little bit, and it looks better. Like it actually has like a decent look to it instead of the camcorder shaky camera shit.
Well, instead like a Paranormal Activity security camera that's black and white.
I remember I went and saw Cloverfield with my buddy Mike, and he literally left the theater and threw up, and I was like, Jesus Christ. So there's none of that in this movie.
A lot of people did that. That's
weird.
There's a ton of reports that people left Cloverfield because it was so queasy and shaky cam.
Yeah, I like Cloverfield.
I like it too.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, there's a couple other areas, like before we get okay. So what's the plot here? We got a mom that is estranged from her parents.
So yeah, the only problem with this movie I have is you have to believe that what you're watching is a finished film, which is insane. She would like delete or give this like footage to the police, and that would be the end of it. What a traumatic experience these kids have had. This would not be a thing that she takes to the finish line and like puts credits on. So like you have to sort of like suspend your disbelief there. The other thing that's sort of like you either buy it right away, you don't notice it, or you're like immediately like, what? The whole idea of like, she hasn't seen her parents in 14, 15 years and the kids have never met the grandparents. It's tough.
Oh, see, my thing was the fact that she didn't just verify like
no, that's the other, right. So, okay. All right. So we'll get into this really quickly. We're going to get into it. No, you're right. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I grabbed my girlfriend. I'm like, let's watch The Visit. Like, she's never seen it. I'm like, let's watch it. Okay. And I like this movie a lot. So I was like kind of excited. Again, didn't tell her anything except for that I liked it. I was like, yeah, it's like his comeback movie. It's good. It's fun. And she's like, okay. We sit down. Before Catherine Hahn even exits the movie, I would say less than 2 minutes had passed. And she goes, oh, well, then they're probably not the real grandparents. And I was like, God damn it. Really? Is it that obvious? She called the twist of this movie within 2 minutes.
I think a lot of people did.
It's a bummer. The movie totally like surprised me the first time I watched.
Well, and maybe not back then, but as the world progresses, it's getting a little more I don't know, it's a little more scary. So of course, people are going to take more and more precautions, and knowing where you're sending your kids.
Well, she thinks she's sending them right. Yeah, but I mean, it's not like he doesn't cover his tracks as far as that twist goes, because like, she did talk to them. They did make the plan, because like the grandparents were actually expecting the kids. It like the weird like switch that happened like in a really short period of time. So it's like,
did she say how she talked to him? Probably through email with this fucking plot.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah. She sent them a letter. So okay, so let's get into it. So yeah, Catherine Hahn has these two kids. I want them both to die in the beginning of the movie, but that's neither here nor there.
She didn't bother me. Like, I obviously,
she was so fucking annoying. Every time she had to say anything, she was just like whipping out a thesaurus and using the biggest word she could find to say, like, I'm hungry. Like, oh, hey, Mom, I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Mother, I would like to partake in the preservatives of the peanut and the grape jelly jams for my consumption tonight. Like, that's
punch worthy. That's how you get punched.
She can get a little punch, and I am definitely
I excused her because
definitely killed the boy though.
Oh no, he's gonna drop kick.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, I kind of excused her because of her age a little bit, but
no,
still, you don't have to be that obnoxious.
Spot on, totally spot on for like what a nerdy girl at that age would be like. Absolutely,
sure. So yeah, they send them on the train. They're going to Mama and Pop's house. Everything's fine. There's a little rap session on the train. The conductor.
I wanted to die.
Them. Yep. Real bad.
It made me
surprised that conductor liked it. He stayed and listened. So
okay. I do like the running joke that every time someone realizes she's making a movie, they like start to go into some Shakespearean soliloquy.
Yeah, I like that too.
I think that's great. Yeah. I really want to just shout out Catherine Hahn for this scene. As they're like, the train's leaving, she's like kind of doing a cute, like she's being a dorky mom, and she starts running along the train. She's waving at him. She's being funny. And as the train starts to get quicker, you can see she gets really sad and she starts crying, and she's like trying to run to catch up to him. She's a master. She's an absolute master.
So, okay. Well, that's because I watched this a few days ago now. Yeah. I didn't know what, some time passes. I forget what this now meant, but the happy to sad train run. That's what that was. Yeah, yes. It was excellent. I absolutely loved it. It's so good. The motion on her face is excellent. It looked like she was scared for her kids. Almost scared enough to, call them and check out and like check to see where they're going and who they're with, but not that much. I guess
you really do have to suspend disbelief to watch this movie.
Well, I mean, I guess right after that train got out of vision, she just shifted into party mode because her plan, she's going on vacation.
She's going on a cruise.
Her kids are away.
Right.
Going on a cruise, party cruise.
You kind of get the sense that
she stud or something.
You kind of get the sense that she doesn't have a life. Like, her entire life is her kids, especially since like her husband left her, and you get the sense that like her going on this cruise is a big deal for her because she doesn't treat herself to much else than like just watching over her and loving her kids.
Oh, see, I don't like that, because that's just making me think like if her kids were her whole life, then you're checking on who they're going with. Like,
sure.
All right. Anyway,
no, you're right. You're right.
I'm not going to beat that drum too much, but
okay,
that is a drum that needs to be beat a little bit.
Let's whip it up a little
bit. They arrive. You got the everything all looks normal. The grandparents are supposedly out there with signs and they're like cute, and they're running, and it's just like, this is sweet. I love all that. it doesn't take very long for things to get out of hand.
No. One of my favorite genres of movies is like once things go bad, they just movies where like you're watching the movie, 15 minutes goes by, and then everything goes so incredibly wrong for everyone. I love that shit.
The snowball effect. It just
I just love it. I watched John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, and that's another one where it's just like, oh, they all get to this church, and it's like, oh shit, oh no, everything's going terrible, like immediately.
Well, this movie's unique because you don't get it doesn't go off the rails right away. Like most of what they do throughout this movie, as the movie progresses, the grandparents are kind of one-upping each time with
yes,
wilder and wilder things.
Yeah,
but this whole time they're kind of being excused with like logical reasons, different diseases.
Absolutely,
like, sure,
they're old.
Yeah. Yeah,
yep.
They're old people do weird things, and that's like the kid said.
That's what this fucking movie's about is how scary old people are.
Yeah, there's a lot of good justification. But you do see things a little with the grandma's butt cheek hanging out, and it's like, wait, not old people are crazy, but not are they that crazy?
Not that crazy, right?
So it's like, yeah. So I think that's one of the strengths of this movie is you get the patented one-upping each time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's you don't really see what's going to happen until I'll tell you, the first time I saw it, I wasn't sure what was going on. I thought knowing M. Night, they could have been anything from ghosts to aliens.
Well, that's the thing, is he does that great fucking misdirect at the end of the movie where you're like, oh, is he going to fuck this up and make this be about aliens or something stupid, with her telling that story at the end.
Yeah.
And like how the grandpa keeps talking about the little white creature he saw at the factory. And you're like, oh, is he about to take this in some stupid fucking like bullshit direction? And thankfully, like, that's all just red herring. Like, it's to me, that's him just being like, I know what you expect of me, but like, we're just gonna keep it kind of simple with this one.
What is that thing that keeps coming back? The little white creature with eyes or something?
Yes, Pop talks about he saw like a little white creature with like yellow eyes when he worked at this factory, and it's following him. And like,
so I think that's ends up being the grandma, right? Because she's at one point she's all covered in white and she's running around the room and her eyes are lit up, and I'm like, oh,
interesting. I just took it as like they each have their own separate psychosis that like,
sure, yeah, that's
is just
be very likely.
Yeah,
I just think with him being all spaced out and messed up, like maybe he did, like she's all doing her thing crazy, and he does see like her in a little white gown and
maybe her running around the fucking
and I was like,
hospital.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they're making each other nuts. So
yeah, they are for sure.
But yeah, you can explain.
Yeah, so basically what happened, the whole premise of this movie is like these two kids go to their grandparents' house, and their grandparents are fucking scary because they're old people, and the kids have to like deal with that. And then their grandparents get extremely scary in a way that old people aren't. And, there's the twist and turns of that. It's just like a nasty, funny little movie because like he injected it with a lot of weird, like sadistic little humor. There's not a lot to talk about with the plot of the movie. Like we can talk about all the individual scenes, which are all great.
Well, let's talk about the very first thing that you see. Things are not quite as they seem. The kids are playing underneath the house. This happens relatively early on.
Is this the first thing?
I think so.
Is okay? I'm just trying to think.
I'm sure there's little things like semi-noticeable or whatnot, but this is the first thing that where
did the piles of shit in the barn, did that come before or after this? That might be after this.
It might be after.
This scene scared me so fucking much the first time I saw this movie.
It should, because it's absolutely terrifying.
Oh my God, it's so scary. So, like I said earlier in the movie, Becca, right? The girl's name is Becca?
Sure.
Sounds right?
I can look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Anyways, her name, whatever. The girl, she's the one making the movie, and she's basically making this documentary to like, I guess we haven't really talked about that. Yeah, Catherine Hahn like had a falling out with her parents when she was super young and hasn't talked to them in like decades or some shit. And the girl is making this documentary to chronicle like a week with her grandparents and try to like get forgiveness so that she can like bring her family back together. That's the whole point of her documentary. Because
she too, and just like her brother, are also semi-traumatized because their dad left.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a whole subplot. The whole movie.
It's honestly, I think all the family shit is really like touching and sweet.
Well, it works, because
I think it all works pretty well.
It's
especially when you get to later, like the actual trauma of like what the kids like haven't really realized that haven't dealt with it in a real way. I think that shit is all very like, it feels very real and good instead of just being like, instead of just being Adrian Brody from The Village, where you're like, that's not even a real disease. You just made up a fake person who has a fake like mental retardation. Come on, M. Night.
I think you mentioned it earlier. It's you want to feel connected to these characters, and the family issues and the family drama gives you that connection. So you can kind of see, you can kind of see where these kids are at, with their state of mind, as well as the mom. And
let's talk about this first fucking scene. I guess it is the first one. I don't know. I don't really remember them in order. It's been a couple of days since I watched the movie, but the girl has 2 cameras. So sometimes she's filming, sometimes her brother is filming, sometimes like 2 cameras are being used at once, which is great for the actual like craft of the movie that we're watching, because it's not like you get a couple different angles and it kind of edits together nicely. So basically this
again, you got to suspend belief a little bit, because these are like Hollywood, like great cameras.
I think the one camera she has is like a nice like student film camera that her mom probably bought her. And then the other one, when she pulls it out of the bag, it just looks like a Nikon, like professional photographer's camera. It doesn't look like a big like motion camera.
Well, which one is the industrial strength one that breaks a lock?
That's the one that she uses. Yeah, that's her special good camera. It is insane that she breaks a lock at the end of the movie and the camera doesn't even like glitch.
That's
oh
like
my god. Anyways,
yeah.
So the kids are hanging out. Becca and Tyler go under the house because there's this cool like labyrinthian. Okay. All right. I said cool, and Brent was like, "Is it cool?"
Crawling in the crawl space.
No, you never did stuff like that.
No, I never did.
Oh, I got into the dirty.
It wasn't about that life.
You were too tall. You couldn't fit.
You
were a giant monster when you were that young. You couldn't fit in the crawl space. No, I love to dig around in the dirt and like crawl under shit.
I hit it enough standing up.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like this cool, like it's like an exposed crawl space. It's not a crawl space that's like you can only get to from inside the house. You can get to it from outside. Yeah. So they go in there and they start like crawling around chasing each other. And then there's just this horrifying scene where like, I don't know which kid sees her first. It doesn't matter.
I think it's the son, the boy.
Yeah. But he basically is filming himself like selfie style. And then you just see like she looks like the girl from The Ring. Like just hunched over, like a fucking, like her spine looks all hunched over and shit. And she just starts fucking booking it. She just goes to 10 and just starts chasing them like Gollum or something under this house.
I mean, it's already.
And you didn't know that. Immediately, you're like, why is the grandma under there? She's old.
Oh no! See, my fear kid. I'm like, why the grandma can't be that fast? Like, why?
Yes, no, exactly.
And it's like, yeah, it's so unnerving because she's moving at such a quick speed. I'm like,
she books it,
and like that's already scary enough because she's like kind of chasing him and whatnot. But then she throws in the "I'm gonna get you,
I'm gonna get you,"
and I'm like,
"Get you, Becca,
run!" Like I just run.
Get out of there, kids.
No, there's not. I don't think there's a lot of things that scare me like that, and like whatever, like
it's so
normal horror movies or jump scares, whatever. No, that is a bona fide fear that I have. And
absolutely
he smashes that button in the scene, and it's
oh my god!
I
think the cool thing is, I don't think this is a jump scare because you actually see her silhouette like creep up in the background out of focus first. And obviously there's no music in this movie. So there's no like violin shriek to cue it in.
Well, this sequence is a long, like it's not just, it's not
because you see it from both cameras.
Well, I think the first time you see it's just her running by in the distance or just crawling by.
Creepy.
And then it goes to the other kid and she's sneaking up on him. And it's just like, this is is long. And I, the whole time.
And you're like, scared. Get out of that crawl space.
Oh God. It was not.
The switch at the end of the scene is also really jarring because they get out of the crawl space and they're both reasonably freaked the fuck out. And Nana just crawls out and like she got dirt all over her knees and she like brushes off her knees. She's like, all right, well, I made
laughs.
She's like, oh, that was fun. And then like she walks away and her dress is all ripped and you can see her ass cheek. And you're just like,
I'm like,
Tyler's never coming back from that. Like he will need therapy for the rest of his life just for that incident alone.
I got to give the kids credit because I don't know if I'm staying in that house after that one instance. Or I'm locking that door. Like, I don't know.
He really toes a fine line throughout the movie where it's like you every moment that something this happens, you're like, why aren't the kids leaving? Why aren't they calling the mom? But
He-
then
he does-
they out
yeah.
loud rationalize it in a way
Yeah.
where you're like, no, they're right. They are kind of just old and like,
Mhm.
yeah,
He
okay.
goes, and that's what I think that, like I said, that's one of the strengths is the fact that they go through these lengths to kind of explain these, and it, it's cool.
Works.
That's not the last time she freaking crawls like that. She crawls
No.
later on in
She's the scary one.
movie. Well, I'm just gonna, I might as well cut right to the end. Favorite character, Grandmama
Nana?
or Nana. Yeah.
Nana's your favorite.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The whole, I didn't
She
really
rules.
actually I didn't find the grandpa it's very scary at all. Meanwhile, I was utterly terrified the entire time of Nana.
No, Nana is the scary one. Nana is the one who has like dangerous schizophrenia. Like she is the scary one. But Pop Pop, even though he's not scary, like in a way that she is, he's very important to like the like just continued pressure of fear, because like Nana's kind of confused and sweet during the day, and then at night she turns into Satan. Like she's crawling around the house, like she's that scene where they open the door and she's just butt naked clawing at a door, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's so scary.
No, oh god,
Because at the same time, I'm also putting myself in the mind of like a 7-year-old or a 12-year-old the whole movie. Because I'm
I
just
don't
like,
have to
what
be
are
that.
these-
I know if I open the door and the night where she's cooking it, running through the house.
she's doing the Naruto
No.
run across the fucking house.
No, oh god, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. That is
She's so
utterly
scary.
terrifying to me. So, like, I just gotta hand it to M. Night for just crafting this completely terrifying creature
Yes.
that's actually an old lady. So,
Yes.
awesome. Loved all that.
No, but she's the scary one. Like she does all these really frightening things, and she's the dangerous one too, because what you find out later that she actually has already killed and like all this stuff. But like Pop Pop is scary in a different way because he's confused and he's like ashamed of his body, and like he's got the paranoia where they like see that guy in the street and he thinks he's following him and he like attacks him.
Yeah. That's. I feel like that's
No,
kind
none
of
of it's
normal.
like
I know. I would want to put my poop in that little kid's face. So I mean,
Hey,
I related
hey,
a lot with.
hey,
with
that's
Pop Pop.
okay. That's rude. The poop to the face is one of the rudest things I've ever seen in cinema. Oh God. Yeah, but I just like Pop Pop doesn't scare me, but without him, you're just kind of like, yeah, like the grandma gets fucking freaky at night and then like they're fine because he's able to sort of like during the day be just like unhinged enough to keep the tension moving throughout those scenes.
Yeah, I mean, I think at one point he apologized for
yeah.
like
He's
putting
definitely
on
like
his-
more in
the
like
party-
control.
party clothes. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
so-
that scene actually made me really sad. Where he's putting on
It
the
is
costume
sad.
party, and you're like, "Oh, there's no
Yeah.
costume. I just want him to go have a good time in a costume
yeah,
party."
I don't. No, yeah, he didn't scare me as much as he just,
No,
I just-
she's the scary one by far. I agree.
Oh, what do you mean when there's a part when she's sitting there staring at a wall laughing maniacally?
Oh God, to
That's-
keep the
that's-
darkies away.
Oh no, mom, Nana, whatever.
All right.
Like,
So I mean, we've already talked about a couple of this. Like, yeah, there's the scary scene. They keep like deliberating on like the ethics of them leaving a camera out, and I'm just like, girl, like stop being like so. Just put the camera out. You know, like we just gotta put the camera out. But the other big scary scene for me is that scene where they put the camera out to see what like Nana's up to at night.
yeah, that night she's doing
And guess
more
what?
of a
It's fucking
crawling.
terrifying.
Yep, absolutely terrifying. It very forced jump scare when she
Yes.
pops up. Not a fan of that, but whatever.
I wasn't a fan of it either, but
I got scared.
well,
Like I was like, whoa.
yes, but like the way that whole scene plays out is great because the first thing you see her doing is so harmless.
Going to get a knife.
No. The first thing before all of that, the first thing you see her doing is extremely harmless, but also just for some reason scary as fuck, which is she just starts opening and closing a door over and over and over again. And I'm just like, I got to get out of this situation. And then, yeah, she like runs across the room and you don't see her, but you hear the thump, and then she jumps up and like screams right in the camera.
Nope. Can't do, I can't do any of that little rapid movements on the ground.
thumpings,
I just,
yeah.
Nope, can't do it, man. Oh, brutal.
You're freaked
Absolutely
out right
brutal.
now.
Oh, I got goosebumps. It's
But-
highly effective when it.
But what I like
scares
I like about the jump scare, because that's like really the only real like actual jump scare in the whole movie. I like the jump scare because he doesn't pull away from it. Like she jumps and she screams in the camera, And then like her face stays really demented, and then she grabs the camera and she starts bringing it with you. And like at this point, I think my girlfriend Jessica was like, "Well, I don't like that, like that she's just bringing the camera, you know, because you're like, what's she gonna do?"
No,
and that's when she goes and gets the knife.
Yeah, the change perspective. Now you're watching what the psycho is doing, and yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's so scary.
Yeah, freaky, terrifying. I don't want to see none of that. There was a I don't want to call it a red herring, kind of like a bait and switch. She does it 2 times when she asks the daughter to get in the oven. I think this was in the trailer, so everyone was like, I kind of got Hansel and Gretel vibes from the trailer.
Absolutely. I mean, this movie has Hansel and Gretel vibes. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, when she tells her, "Oh, get farther in," and then when she finally closes the oven door, I'm like, holy shit. Thank God he didn't go there.
No. But he scares you just enough.
I know, and it works, and it's sweet.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, what are some of the things that pops up to? I mean, we basically covered Nana's whole vibe. Like she has this thing called sundowning, which is like when the sun goes down, her dementia and like schizophrenia really kicks in, and she starts fucking acting like a demon that hell.
She hits a multiplier, and she just goes.
But Pop-Pop's whole thing is like, I don't know, he shits his pants and he's embarrassed about it, and then he's kind of paranoid.
I mean, I kind of wrote his kind of thing is kind of like torture, because he puts he's not really like dangerous to anyone. I mean, except for we don't know who kills who in the movie. There are some deaths in this movie, but I will mention that the deaths for a horror movie, the kind of minimal payoffs, you know, you just come across like a couple bodies downstairs to it's nothing to
that's nothing.
And then you see like a half a door swing open, and you see what's
the
her
hanged
face
girl.
Yeah, and it's
I loved that.
Did the kids see that?
Unclear
at that point.
It's
okay.
I like that a lot, because it's like that's when found footage is fun, because it's like they kind of open the door for a second. The audience clearly sees that the girl who came and visited earlier is hanging from a noose in the backyard. But just before the kids can really react, before you can really process what's going on, Pop-Pop shows up and like closes the door, and he's like, "We're gonna have a game night," and the kids aren't able to react. They're not able to because they have to act for him.
So maybe that's maybe just for the viewer then, because
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Or if it was or you could also insinuate like if the kids did see it, they weren't able to start screaming because they had to like try and keep everything under control.
At that point they were they knew that they weren't with the right people.
God, this movie's so fun. So fun.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got tortured, like I said, like at the very end, with the poo, right after poo, he's kind of just like monologuing to the kid.
Right.
Like there's no real danger.
I don't feel. Yeah, it's weird. I don't feel that he's a threat to their lives, but obviously Nana is. Yeah, like obviously Nana is absolutely nuts at this point. Yeah,
but there's always that threat of like, oh, there is a grown man here too. And see, that's another thing. Like
they talk about how strong he is.
Yeah, but how he was overcame by the kids with the refrigerator door being slammed on him. It's just like, I don't know. There's a. I
like that scene.
Wow, I don't know. Is that taking you out? Is that little kid taking you out?
Not me.
Kid, no. But I don't know.
He might be able to take out an old man who's just been in a mental institution for years. You know,
maybe he's a little weaker. I don't know. When I think of old people, I always think that old man strength is going to kick in and just like,
well, I mean, very possible.
The fight or flight. But, this little kid slamming my head in a refrigerator door. He's time to go down. You know.
Well, that kid's fighting for his life, man.
He's fighting to get the poop off his face.
He got poop. Oh my god, all over his face. That scene's nasty. Okay. So, I mean, have we talked about all the scary shit and like all the other stuff?
No.
Oh, you missed one?
No, there's another and it's back. Guess who?
It's Nana, folks.
Yeah, it's a climax. Becca's.
I wanted to get to that. I want to put the climax off for a second because that scene's so scary. Oh my god, Nana's such a freak.
And
okay, so like while all of this shit's going on, Becca and Tyler are like, they're arguing like brother and sisters do, and like
rationalizing,
and they're making shit. And then like every now and then Catherine Hahn will call and like they'll Skype in, but then like Nana got fucking oven cleaner on the laptop camera,
yeah.
and like now they can't see Catherine, whatever. Like there's all this
Mhm.
stuff going on. So like, and they're telling Catherine Hahn like, hey, things are kind of weird around here. And Catherine Hahn's like, guys, like they're
She's
just
doing the same
old.
thing. Yeah.
Yep. And you're also getting this like third layer where like you can tell that Becca is making the movie to make herself feel better about how her father left her. And then she starts to try and like extend that to Tyler to be like, hey, like, how do you feel about this? You could
Mhm.
tell there's that really good scene where Tyler's just like, it's fine. And you could tell like it's all over his face. We're like, oh, this kid hasn't even thought about like how damaged he is from his dad, like abandoning him.
That works. There's a couple good scenes like when he's zooming in on her.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, there's all that's good. Like normally
Yeah.
this is where M. Night goes off the shot. Like this is where he branches out and everyone's like, you don't need that. Like at least what we've seen so far. But all that works, and I thought
I think it's
were good.
fun.
I particularly loved when at this point, all this chaos is happening, and normally I want to punch the kid, but here he was brilliant. Like this is how kids play. And he's throwing the ball up.
Yes.
And he's just like love that whole line. I was like, oh, that's good writing.
Yep.
So that worked.
Yeah. And then like you get the scene where he explains his, like they just sort of tell you that he has germophobia, as like they were like, oh yeah, ever since dad left, he's like really bad with germs. Like they don't really get into it too much, but then there's that really good scene. I think it's a really good scene of him. It just sort of cuts to like them in the bedroom at night, and he's freaking out because he got like some germs on his hand and there's no toilet paper. And he's like freaking out, and like you can just see all of the bickering and like the brother sister argument shit goes away, and she just takes care of her little brother. And like you can tell she's really good with him. Just a lot of like nice sweet stuff peppered in so that you actually do want these like characters to succeed.
I mean, I didn't buy anything with the germophobia, but
I didn't until that scene.
Even then, I was just like, I don't know. No, it was too minor of a little subplot for me, and it really was just there to make the poop
scene really bad.
Yeah, just to be all that more shocking.
Yeah,
but the kid wasn't even he wasn't even shook from it. He just sat there and took it.
No, that was the thing. He's like he talks about how the reason he thinks his dad left is because he froze up in a football game and like lost the game, and he was like, yeah, they call it like, what did he say? Like they call it freezing, where you just like can't move and like, you're under pressure and you just can't get it. And it's a made up thing that M. Night uses to like justify things in the movie, which like, I don't know, it all comes around. So it's like,
there's something semi similar in sports. It's called the yips, where like
the yips.
It's these like a particular case in New York. There's a pro baseball player catcher, and he just can't throw it back to the pitcher. Like it's the yips, and it's crazy. There is a thing. So I thought he was kind of
playing on that maybe
a little bit, but at the end of the day, M. Night's he's gonna make up whatever he wants. But so like he explains that, but then like that comes into play in the final scene with him and Pop. Like I don't know, it all kind of comes back around. So and Pop kind of pushes him out of there. Oh, you got a little bit of what does he say? Like a weakness or something? Or
yes, yeah.
And it's just like, no, he
doesn't. That scene it's a bummer about that scene because like it's not bad, but like
compared to the other
when you're
side,
cross-cutting to Nana like fucking crawling under the sheets upstairs,
the bed, like
and you're like,
doing the straight every kid's nightmare.
Okay,
like clawing.
No, we just got to set up one more thing. Well, maybe I don't know, whatever. But like, I want to talk about the twist, the actual twist of the movie, which is that they're not their grandparents.
Yeah, so their grandparents.
The first time I watched this movie, I was not catching on to this at all. Like I was just totally buying it as like, yep, grandparents can be scary. That's all I was taking from this movie. I was like, this is weird for sure. And it's like way more like frightening than I thought it was going to be. But I was not on the scent of the twist of the movie. And then when it happens, and because of Catherine Hahn's just outstanding performance, my stomach dropped like the first time I watched this movie because of like, I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, because you find out that they're not their grandparents, and the way it all plays out is so good because Catherine Hahn has to try and keep her composure, but you can tell that she's horrified.
I was just a tiny bit annoyed the fact that she didn't she drags it out for so long without.
They do.
And I'm just like,
Tyler,
what?
listen, kids, listen to me. Listen, shut up, bitch. We're listening.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm putting my head through the mom. I'm like, say it, but no, it is when she finally does deliver the line. You're like,
those aren't your grandparents.
God, that's Yeah, it was effective. Good twist. Solid twist.
I think it's such a good twist. It's so fun. It's so easy. And like the way that he's like right before that, Becca's trying to get that. I hate that she calls it the elixir. She's trying to get like a scene of the grandma like forgiving the daughter. And she keeps referring to it as the elixir. My mom needs the elixir. What? Anyways, that's dumb. That's dumb. That's
JG Scruntworth, you know.
Yeah, that's some dumb M. Night bullshit. But yeah, like she's interviewing the mom, and the mom tells this really bizarre like folk tale story about like aliens from the water, from like basically she just tells the story of Lady in the Water. Like she's just like, yeah, there's a pond where you go and the Cinelefemerians come and you're like, oh God, no, M. Night, are you about to fucking shit the bed right now? No. Like, and I love that he fully just like veers right away from it.
Got rid of that.
So
instantly.
Smart. Yeah. The twist of them not being the grandparents is so scary.
It's good.
And then you have to live, because all of these scenes we're talking about with like the Yahtzee game, Nana in the bed, the poop on the face, all of that happens well after the twist. Like you have to live in the twist for a long time. So it feels way more dangerous in the final act because like, and the kids know, and everything is like a total like facade that they have to put up.
I think that's because they're kids. It works even more because the kids just can't drive away like any other horror victim. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like they're stuck there. They have to wait for reinforcements dealing with these adults. Whereas if it was, any other horror movie or ones that, have adults, there's obviously step one is leave, drive away.
Yes, but they can't. And they're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Right.
Yeah. So creepy. It's creepy, creepy premise.
So yeah, so basically the final act is like they play Yahtzee. This is the funniest scene in the whole fucking movie, is the Yahtzee game.
Funny or unnerving?
Hilarious. I laughed so fucking hard when Nana said, "You're not a Yahtzee master. That takes 10 years." What does that even mean?
That's great. No, I love that.
Oh, it's so good.
Is that a little bit of lore?
I don't know. Does Yahtzee folks email us or something? I don't know.
No, I want to know.
Does it actually take 10 years?
What kind of Yahtzee games are going on in the nursing home beforehand? That's a little bit of lore building.
Well, they call him the Yahtzee master. Then she's like, "You're not the Yahtzee master. That takes 10 years." She gets all mad. And then there's the really weird scene where like he says something about like how Yahtzee was made by Hasbro, and then the granddaughter gets really shitty and she's like, "No, it was created by Hasbro, but then it was sold to this company." And you're like, why does she know the rights to these games? Really weird. I liked it. I don't know. I'm into that shit.
It culminates with the yell, wasn't there? The frightful Yahtzee yell.
Yeah. Well, because Becca,
you want to lay one on me?
I will in a second. But yeah, Becca decides to she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get some shots from outside, for establishing shots." Mm-hmm. Tyler, just stay here and play Yahtzee. And she goes downstairs, discovers the dead bodies, starts to freak out, and then Pop follows her downstairs. And then you cut back to Tyler and Nana still hanging out at the table, and Nana's just shoving cookies in her mouth. And she's freaking out, and then she just screams Yahtzee and turns to the camera, and just stares at the camera, and you're like, what's happening? This is so crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, whenever it's at the camera, it's it just reminds me. It just reminds me I'm watching the movie. It takes me out a little bit.
I guess, yeah. I just love the 2 times Nana looks at the camera, because she's the way she's. I don't know. I don't even know why I like it. It's is she acknowledging that she's a movie star? Yeah, I mean, she's nuts, obviously. Why am I trying to rationalize what's going on in her head? She's fucking insane.
She's absolutely nuts. And that's what makes her character so sweet, is because she's completely bonkers and you never know what she's going to do next.
Yahtzee. So yeah, I don't know. Pop throws Becca and locks her in the room. And then he goes downstairs and I don't know, shoves shit in Tyler's face. And he freezes up. Now let's talk about the fucking final scene with Becca and Nana, because it rules.
Terrifying. It's such a good scene. This is everyone's fear. You see a gazillion memes or whatever a day, and any kid growing up knows to keep their feet off the edge of the bed, because of fear of demons or whatnot.
Yeah.
A billion movies that show creepy things.
It's basically primal.
Yeah, sure. It's terrifying. This is amplified by the fact that Nana's, you don't know where she is in the room, but you'll see her kind of cloche things like grab at the bed. This is kind of when I got the vibe that she was like the creature in white because she's moving so quick. And I was like, oh, that
maybe
it's yeah. And he's like feeding the creature or whatnot.
I gotta say, as scary as literally everything is in this scene, the bed shit is the least scary to me.
Oh, the clawing at the bed.
I mean, that's all scary. The scariest part of this whole scene is when Becca is like standing up and she like moves the camera to the right a little bit, and Nana's just standing right fucking there, staring right at her. And she does it twice, and like Nana just keeps following her and like standing right next to her. That freaks me out so much.
That anything with Nana is terrifying. That's terrifying. At the same time, obviously, like you're gonna put the light on the psycho lady that keeps getting closer and closer to you. So I don't know. There's a lot of logical leaps, and that's the biggest one of the whole movie where I'm like, okay.
I know I was too, because I was like, why don't you just keep the fucking light on her? But at the same time, I'm like, oh, God,
because
so
every time it came back, I got a little more scared. I'm like, oh, that's why he's doing it. And it's there's it's kind of a seesaw thing where it's like, oh, I hate that. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh,
yeah. So Becca kills Nana with some glass. She stabs her to fucking death.
Yeah. What the final Nana's final attack? What is she like biting?
She smashes her head. She smashes her head into the glass, and then Becca like grabs some glass and like, Nana gets like on top of her, like mounts her, and it's like literally just like attacking her in a really weird way. And Nana, Becca just
animalistic little white creature.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then downstairs, like we already discussed, Tyler just like football tackles him and has a freak. I really, this is my favorite scene, I think, with Tyler. I like that he like kind of breaks in this scene. Like everything fucking breaks away from him. Like Becca has been fragile and like kind of reasonable the whole movie, and like the whole, bullshit rapper thing that he's doing, all of this stuff to seem cool just totally falls away. He freezes and then he breaks through it, attacks like Pop and kills him. And I like that he starts screaming like football shit where he's like, wrap the legs. And like, it's over the top, but I don't know. I like that he just has like a full on break.
Yeah. Okay. What, 70-pound kid taking down a 160-pound guy.
Absolutely. It's silly. It even looks silly, but I don't know. It's just for what it is.
Sure.
And then I guess the other thing we didn't really talk about before we like really wrap this up, I really like the explanation that Pop gives to Becca in the basement, where he's like, your grandparents, they seemed really excited to see you, and it was really rude of them to talk about it in front of her because they knew like she killed her own kids and like put them in a suitcase and threw them in a pond. And you find out like through his explanation that her weird fairy tale was her like psychotic mind rationalizing what she did to her own children, or maybe it was her grandkids, whatever. But you find out that she killed like her own grandkids and like threw them in a well.
Yeah, that's I guess
Nana's scary.
Yeah, she's the bread and butter.
No
here,
joke.
You come for M. Night, but you stay for Nana.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Nana, Leatherface.
All very terrifying. Yes.
absolutely. And then Catherine Hahn shows up with the police right at the end. I really like the sudden use of that like really classical. I tried to find what that song was that they played right at the end. That kind of like sounded like almost like an old Hollywood classical score.
Yeah.
All I found was like it was some fucking guy from like the 40s. I thought it was from a movie or something. Couldn't find anything from it. But
well, judging by this budget, no, he M. Night didn't go looking for anything.
Yeah. We'll talk about the budget. We'll definitely talk about the budget. I want to talk about like production shit before we like wrap up the actual podcast. But then so they come and they get in the cop car and they drive away, and I wish the movie ended there.
Camera stays on the whole time.
Love it.
At this point in the cop car, the camera is still on, still pointing at them, just forcefully showing the audience some distress from the main characters. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot in this movie that really works for me, and there's a lot that is just like,
and that just sort of come with the package of doing found footage stuff.
Sure, I don't know. I've like Paranormal Activity.
Sure, no. Obviously, there are better executions. Yeah.
But even like Blair Witch, why is the camera still rolling? And
right. Blair Witch rules though. But yeah, I don't know, I don't like the end of the movie is the problem. I don't like the extremely forced forgiveness scene with the mom, and then it goes on for a long time. She's like, I could have gotten forgiveness anytime. And then she grabs back and she's like, don't live your life with hate. And you're like, when did this become the most melodramatic bullshit movie ever?
Well, you know,
I don't
M.
like
Night
it.
with his
The crowd pleasing bullshit.
Yeah, he does that. You know, we can.
But how good would
it.
this movie have been if it just ended with them in the cop car with that classical music blaring and then cut to a black screen with a red text and it just said The Visit? Done. You're out. It would have been great.
Yeah. Are you telling me there's that little after scene where they're in the room and you get one last rap?
Okay. So the mom has this breakdown, cries, and tells Becca the actual story of what happened, which is she got into a physical altercation with her dad. And then you get some nice footage of her, Becca's actual dad, to let you know that she forgives her dad and she's ready to live her life happily. And then there's a title card that says, my brother insisted I put this at the end of the movie, at which point I leapt up from the couch and immediately turned the Blu-ray player off. I was like, I cannot fucking stand this kid. I will not hear him rapping anymore. He's so bad at it. I want to hit him. Oh, so I didn't even listen to it. I just turned it off.
Oh, really?
But yes. Yeah. The end of the movie is him rapping.
Listeners, make note of that. James did not finish this movie.
Okay.
So that might skew his score a little bit. So just keep that in mind.
Does that, hold on. If I don't watch the fucking third post-credit scene at a Marvel movie, does that mean I didn't see the movie?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't
cool.
think so. No,
I'm considering Tyler's rap post-credits.
It wasn't. That's the worst part. Is because M.
It should have
Night,
been.
for no reason whatsoever, decides to basically.
Does he rap over the credits?
He sums up the entire plot
by
rapping about the grandparents tried to kill me, and it's
he would be in therapy. He would be traumatized for years.
No, one of his lyrics, I think he's like, but you can't bring me down. And it's I don't know. It's not good. It's not good in any way, shape, or form.
Glad I didn't fucking watch it.
It probably would have been a little better if he was good at rapping, or if it just
he's so bad at it.
It's bad. It's
really bad.
Yeah. And it's just obnoxious. And why would you do that to your movie, M. Night? Why would you end with that note where I'm like it made me mad. Yeah, right before the credits, you're going to stick me with that garbage.
He does this, though. He does this a couple of times. I think, honestly, the same kind of thing you could say about Old, where it's you sort of already had the perfect ending scene. Why didn't you just cut to credits there? This movie was it's way more egregious in The Visit. But, we already talked about it with Old. But, yeah, I just, sometimes he doesn't know when to, just cut, get out when it's good,
Maybe he thought that's what people wanted. He was wrong.
He's very wrong. I did some looking around online just for in my free time this week, just about The Visit, just because I was so excited to talk about a movie that I actually liked after the last 4 fucking episodes. Sure, yeah. So I was watching some interviews with M. Night and read some shit, just talking about the budget, because this is a $5 million budget. This is nothing compared to what he's been doing. I think After Earth was a $130 million budget. So he really downsized. But what he did was he actually loaned money against his house. So this $5 million was his. He did not take any money from any studio. He made the movie and then shopped it around, and then Blumhouse picked it up. And this is just the Blumhouse model. You make a fucking horror movie for $3 million, and then it makes $100 million at the box office. So
yeah, they're on a bit of a run.
That's what they do.
This isn't the start of the Blum. I feel like Blumhouse has kind of been on a tear for, I don't want to say tear, but they've been on a pretty steady rise.
They've got a formula, and I would say it more their formula is so smart, because it's okay, Get Out probably costs what, $6 million to make, maybe, low budget, makes millions and millions and millions of dollars, makes even The Visit, we can even use this example, $5 million to make, it makes almost $100 million. They can make 6 movies that flop in a row, and it won't matter because of how much this one fucking movie made. They only need to make a mega hit. And it's not even a mega hit. $100 million is not that much money, but when you only spend 5 to make it, anyways. Yeah. So
there are quite a few Blumhouse bombs too.
Absolutely.
Truth or Dare, there's, they can get out there.
I thought that was good. I heard that was fun. No, not for you. All right. But so the other thing that I wanted to just bring up, so he takes the money out for this movie himself. And I found an article of him talking about it where he was just there's just been studies when you have unlimited options, you make bad choices, and we need limitations. And that's what I realized at that point in my career is I needed the limitation of a small budget, and I needed the danger of me losing my own money so that I would focus on, making something that I actually thought was good. And like, it was just like refreshing to hear him talk about why he did. Nice. And then he did that. He's done that. Yeah. I don't think Old was that way, but he scrounged up the $9 million to make Split. And then he even did it. Glass had a $20 million budget. He self-financed that even after Disney and Universal were like, dude, we'll make this movie for you, and you can spend way more than $20 million. And he's like, nope, this is what I'm doing. This is how I make the movies.
How the hell did he get James McAvoy for $9 million in Split? I'll never know.
I think you're overestimating James McAvoy's star power.
No.
Yeah. I love him. No, I like James McAvoy.
I'm definitely not underestimating his talent, because I think he's
no. I think he's great, but
maybe he's a bargain at this point in his career.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
All right, let's ease off on my boy James.
I love him, but the other thing I wanted to talk about. So I was watching these YouTube interviews. This is so fascinating because we're about to cover Split coming up next. And for people who don't know, spoiler alert, I'm just going to give a quick pause. Let it sit for a second. Spoiler alert for Split. Sit for a second. It's a sequel to Unbreakable.
Mm-hmm.
Sequel to Unbreakable.
Supposedly, yep.
Not supposedly. It is literally a sequel to Unbreakable.
He threw in a scene at the end of the movie, and now it was like, blah, blah, blah. So
what? Okay,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right, sure. I mean, whatever.
I know.
It's a sequel to Unbreakable. Do you disagree? What is this?
No, I know, because it's in the same universe. It's like, but sequel is a bit of a stretch for me because it's completely different characters. It's everything. Same universe, sure. I guess if you want to, I don't know. We'll get into it. But.
Okay, sure. I get what, but like it is like it's the second movie in that trilogy, and then the third movie brings it all together.
Because he included that scene in Split. He was like, "Oh, this is perfect. Now I get to make a whole nother movie." And it's just like, oh.
No.
There was final credits at the end of Unbreakable. We went over this. Like, there was nothing. There was no inclination.
No. We're on different sides of this. You and I agree that he, in 2002, when he made Unbreakable, he did not have fucking plans to really make a trilogy. No fucking way.
Absolutely not.
But when 2017 rolls around and he's making Split, that's when he's got plans. That's when he made the plans, is when he made Split. It's not like he made Split and then all of a sudden realized he should make it. Like he went into that movie knowing it was going to be a sequel to Unbreakable. He didn't just realize it at the end. The whole movie's like,
he probably looked at the Marvel formula and was like, "Oh, I can include this one scene here, and I can." Start.
No, he's way more. Whatever. We'll get into this next week. Whatever. I'm trying to get to a funny thing that I found. So he's promoting The Visit, and he's doing these interviews, and in every interview, someone asks one of these two questions: Have you thought about doing a sequel to Unbreakable? Is one of the questions, and the other question is, would you ever make a superhero movie? Both of his answers are more or less the same, and he's being such a little stinker about it. He's so good in these interviews because he's like, yeah, the Unbreakable thing, like I've definitely thought about it. I know people really like that movie. People come around to it. And, I don't really want to like make a movie that like people expect me to make, especially, and then he says the same thing for the superhero things where he's like, I don't want to make a superhero movie because you guys will all expect me to give you a superhero movie. And that's not how I work. And same thing with Unbreakable. He's like, if I make a sequel to Unbreakable, you're going to know that my next movie is a sequel to Unbreakable, and you're just going to expect that. And I don't like that. And he's just, he's saying, he's dancing around the question, but more or less he's like, yeah, not really like that. And then he always ends the question with, and I'm actually working on my next movie right now. It's another original thriller like The Visit. And I'm just like, you little shithead. You just told them you're not going to do it. And then you told them your next movie is an original thriller. No, it's not. It's a sequel to Unbreakable and a superhero movie. I love him. He's such a little stinker.
Well, during that interview, he was like, oh, you know what? If I put a scene here, then yeah, I'll be actually checking.
Yeah, no, boxes. I think you're really giving him no credit. Like he went. That's not how it works.
I am not. No, It feels. We'll get into that. That's all next week. But
what? Oh my god!
Yeah, no,
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Anyways, rate The Visit. What do you think of The Visit?
And wait. First off, with that little interview, how do people not consider Unbreakable a superhero movie? Like he's
I think that they were more alluding to like the modern day like MCU, big people in capes and stuff super. I don't think that he was like ignoring Unbreakable. He was just, asking him like,
It's kind of like the interview.
would you ever play in this ball game?
Sure. Like the interviewer started talking about the MCU, and then he's like, "Oh wait, what is the MCU's good? I can
stop it."
All right, I gave it a 3 out of 5.
It's also not a post-credit scene, dude. You give it a what? I'm sorry, I yelled at you.
I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Brent gives The Visit 3 out of 5.
Yes,
I gave it.
Go for it.
5 out. No, I'm just kidding. 3.5 stars out of 5.
Okay,
3.5. I like it.
Like, yeah, I mean, we've spoken at length. It's just thinking about it is terrifying. There's a lot that scares me. Very effective. What I want from horror movies is to be scared, and I was scared. So that's
scary.
How I was. Yeah. So there's a lot that works, and everything that I didn't like about it with the logical leaps and everything with the.
It's definitely like whole. It's definitely a flawed movie.
Yeah, and Pop can kind of get bent. Didn't really do much. The kids can kind of get bent. So yeah, I think that
Nana's the fucking goat.
Those 3 stars are going all to Nana. So
Nana's getting every star.
Yeah.
God, she's a fucking legend. 3.5 stars for me. Really liked it. Think it's a nasty, fun little movie.
Let's close the book on The Visit. Let's talk about some movies coming up. Do you have something?
You sure you don't want to play the game first?
We can do the game. Okay. I don't know who is it.
I'm giving you 2 options. I'm going to let you pick.
I don't know.
I'm going to say right off the top. You might not know. This is going to be one of those things where it's going to be like a fucking Cliff Curtis thing, or when I did Jeremy Strong, and you're like, I don't even know who Jeremy Strong is.
Well, exactly. I don't know any filmographies about anyone in the cast.
But here's the good thing. Between these 2 people I'm going to give you, you will absolutely be able to guess every single movie that they have in their top 5. Whether you know who they are or not. Like, they are all very big movies that you'll definitely be able to figure out. So
I am going to be leaning heavily into your hints.
Absolutely. So. No. Absolutely. I'll give you good hints. Would you like to do Peter McRobbie, who plays Pop, or would you like to do Catherine Hahn, the mother?
I again, 0 filmographies for either that I am aware of.
Sure.
I mean, I recognize the old guy's face. I feel like from like a war movie or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'll let you pick.
Wow, I tried to show mercy and let you have a choice. So we're doing Peter McRobbie.
Let's do it.
All right. Peter McRobbie's top 5 grossing films. One of these has been, we've guessed this before. I think this was in Jeremy Strong. Yeah, I think Jeremy Strong was in this. The number 1 Peter McRobbie film. You've guessed this movie before in this series. It is a big, sweeping historical drama. If this is the same hint I gave you last time.
Yeah, what, Saving Private Ryan or
No. Same director though. You got that guy.
Braveheart.
No, Steven Spielberg did not direct Braveheart. No.
No, that's Mel. I know that's Mel.
Yeah. This movie's directed by Steven Spielberg, as is another movie in the top 5 of Peter McRobbie. So you're getting 2 Spielbergs here. But this one's like, I don't know, it's like a big fucking Oscar, winning historical drama.
Bridge of Spies.
Bridge of Spies is number 3.
Okay, cool.
I'm mad you got that one first because I wanted to give hints for that because I love that movie. No, number 1 stars a guy who we all love, and he's done a lot of movies, but he's the best.
Okay, so that sounds like you're referring to your guy, Tom Cruise.
No, what? Tom Cruise is in a ton of movies.
Oh, I thought you said he's the best. And whenever you say he's...
Okay, no, I'm quantifiably saying that the actor who stars in this movie is the best actor.
Okay, so that's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Correct. So, Daniel Day-Lewis movie, directed by Steven Spielberg. It's a historical drama. How have you not guessed this yet?
It's
about that one guy.
I mean, it's not directed by Spielberg and Daniel Day-Lewis. Lincoln, for crying out loud.
You fool. Lincoln.
Stupid. Edit out all that blank space for crying out loud.
It. I'll make you sound smart. Number 2 shares its star with number 3, Bridge of Spies. Same lead actor in this one. This one's a bit of a throwback. Wow, this movie made a lot of money. Okay, this is a comedy, kind of a body swap comedy.
Body swap comedy.
That's a bit misleading. It's the body change comedy. He doesn't swap bodies, but his body changes.
Yeah, the basic, Freaky Friday, Soul.
Older. Same star as Bridge of Spies. Who's the star of Bridge of Spies?
Tom Hanks.
Uh-huh.
Swapping bodies.
Remember when he made? There you go. Big.
Nice.
Big. Peter McRobbie plays executive in Big.
Big role.
Okay. All right. We're down to the other two. Now, these are the two I was excited to get to. I'm being sincere. Number 4. It's a remake of a classic kind of crime movie. How can I describe this without just giving it away? Very okay. It's a remake of like a classic blaxploitation film. Stars a black lead he just constantly works, and he's always
Samuel
good.
Jackson.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And it's a remake, and it's a crime.
Yeah, it's like a crime. It's like a crime action, movie. Cops and robbers and detectives and criminals and shit.
With Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, big one.
Hmm.
And they actually made a sequel to this remake really recently. That was like a weird legacy sequel thing. I heard it was really bad.
Well,
this movie came out a long time ago.
Sam Jackson just shows up, he reads his lines, hits his marks, and collects his checks. That's
exactly what he does. Let's see. What else can I give you about this movie? It's kind of like no, it's not a comedy because it's kind of like a serious like action thing. But it's got that comedic edge to it because of Samuel Jackson just being a badass or whatever. Shaft.
No.
Shaft.
Is it Shaft?
Shaft.
Oh my God, they did come out with the Shaft too, didn't they?
Remember that?
That threw me off.
I know. Like that movie doesn't exist. That second Shaft movie.
The first one's not bad.
No, I didn't hate it. It's pretty good.
No, I didn't. You got Christian Bale as a bad guy.
Right. I forgot about Christian Bale.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. And
you've got Peter McRobbie playing Lieutenant Cromarty.
Isn't Jeffrey Wright's awesome in it, I think.
Oh God, yeah, he plays like a Cuban drug dealer or something like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't hate Shaft, but
yep. Okay. Last one. We're at number 5. I'm liking how hard these are. Okay. God, this movie.
I am not. I'm exposing myself here.
No, it's okay.
These are hard because how's this guy gonna have a podcast when he doesn't know Shaft?
Well, no, because the thing is, you have no lead. You have no lead to go on. Like you're trying to guess movies in Peter McRobbie's top 5. So it's like you're already at a disadvantage because you don't know who the fuck this guy is because he's only made like 14 movies because he's a TV guy. And then, I have to give you hints based on that. And like, sure, they're big movies, but if I give you one hint, it's a dead giveaway. So I have to give you really vague, weird hints. So it's fine. Okay, number 5.
Blue Streak.
He is. I do not see Blue Streak here. No.
Okay. I feel like, man,
he's the priest in Daredevil, though. Remember that show? Peter McRobbie is the priest.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
show's amazing.
I really
thank God. Thank God, Marvel's bringing them back.
Are they doing that again? Let's not get into
D'Onofrio.
I can't talk about Marvel on every fucking episode.
Every episode, yeah.
I would die. All right, number 5. It is a how to describe. It's kind of it's in the vein of like Pearl Harbor in that it's like about a tragedy in American history. And it is the title of the movie is just so on the nose, and it's just like this is what it's about. And it's made by a big director who does movies. He's known for doing movies about like American politics and like Americans' involvements in war. Okay. And like, this is what the director kind of does.
Is it an action movie?
Not, I mean, I guess technically there's
Pearl Harbor. I instantly go Midway.
No. This is more like tragic and like, I don't know. It seems like it's trying to be kind of weepy and like this movie was probably really trying to get a bunch of Oscars. I don't know. It's
so I'm instantly going to like one of those 9/11 movies. Is it
okay? Yep, you're on the right. Yep, you're on the right track.
Okay,
it's a 9/11 movie. So which one is it?
Wasn't there one? It's not the. Is there? I didn't. Let me say I haven't seen any of them.
No. I actually saw this one in theaters, and I think it was pretty bad. I mean, I don't remember much of this movie.
Is it? God, it's. Did Mark Wahlberg do one where he's like a firefighter or something?
I don't think Mark Wahlberg did one. He just talked about how if he was on the plane on 9/11, it wouldn't have happened. That's what Mark Wahlberg contributed.
Oh God, I didn't know he said that. But there was one. There was another one where, or maybe it was Nicolas Cage was a cop.
That's it.
That's the one.
It's this one. It's the Nicolas Cage 9/11 movie. What's it called?
Okay, what is it called? 9/11?
It might as well be.
I don't know what this is called.
It's called World Trade Center.
Okay.
The name, that's the inventive name that they came up with. Oliver Stone directed this movie, so we'll probably cover it someday.
Probably, yeah.
I'd love to do Oliver Stone just because it would be a lot of screaming.
There's another 9/11 movie where it's like
United
they're
93?
on a plane. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
So I didn't see either of them.
I think that one's actually not like totally bad. I remember seeing World Trade Center and being like, seems boring. And that's not the word that you should feel when you're watching a movie about the World Trade Center falling. You shouldn't feel bored, right? Like you should be feeling a lot of things.
I feel like, I might have just stayed away because it's like, it's heavy. You got to be in that mindset.
Yeah. It's Nicolas Cage and like John Leguizamo, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Nicolas Cage was in his own M. Night rut during that time. Like, right. Was
that around though?
The Bangkok Dangerous days? No, that was a special time. The Wicker Man, those days. That was,
oh God.
That was free falling.
I love him so much. Can't wait till we get to cover him one day.
We will.
All right. Well, oh yeah, upcoming movies. Jesus Christ, that was a long game that we played there. So I guess we got to talk about some movies that we're excited about. You go first.
All right. Mine comes out on October 22nd. It's a kids movie. Looks cute. I think it has like I looked. It said it had like 3 directors. That's
never a good sign.
No, it's not. The most noticeable was Sarah Smith. I think she did Arthur Christmas, and even that was like whatever. But it's called Ron's Gone Wild. It's a new animated.
I think it's called movie. Ron's Gone Wrong.
That's fine. I don't know why I wrote Wild.
Well, that just seems like that. That seems like a real name. Yeah, Ron's Gone Wrong.
Ron's Gone Wrong.
Sorry, it kind of just looks like Big Hero 6, sort of.
A little bit. It's futuristic. Every kid has these little bot helpers that are like fun, and they do fun, cool stuff. And there's probably going to be a bunch of cool animations and things that these robots can do. So that'll be fun to watch. And I guess the lead characters finally gets a little robot of his own, and
adorable.
It goes wrong. So I got major Wall-E vibes, and Wall-E was pretty damn cute and fun.
Yeah. I don't want you to get your hopes up though, because Wall-E is like one of the 10 greatest films ever made, and I don't think that Ron's Gone Wrong is going to follow in those footsteps too closely. But I do agree, Ron's Gone Wrong does look kind of cute, and I don't know. I'd like to go see it.
Be fun.
I haven't seen enough animated.
I'm not.
movies.
No, I don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to elevate it onto Wall-E levels. And I'm gonna come out and say there's a bunch more Pixar above Wall-E for me.
No,
so
there is one Pixar above Wall-E, and that movie's called Inside Out. And then there is Wall-E.
Did I get you on the inside? I feel like because I always go hard. Like I'll die for Inside Out. I think.
Oh no! I saw Inside Out before. No, because I saw Inside Out like right after it came out. Because I saw it before I even moved back to Warren. So no. I mean that movie's fucking rules. It's a masterpiece. Anyways,
I just didn't know you had Inside Out at number 1. Your number 1 slot there.
Numero 1, best movie they have made.
You will not hear any arguments from me. I think it's a masterpiece, but
yes,
that's where I was kind of going with it. Animated movies. What's the last one you saw? It was Luca or something, and
Luca. Well, I mean, that? I recently watched Crypto Zoo, which is this weird fucking trippy indie animated movie. But yeah, Luca, I think was like the last. I loved Luca. Thought Luca was great.
Yeah.
Cute movie. All right. I'm gonna go international for my upcoming movie.
Of course you are.
Of course I are. I don't know when this movie comes out. Well, I'm actually going 2 Asian movies for the movies we're talking today because I talked about Edward Yang earlier. I gotta pull this guy's name up because I don't have it memorized. But
it's not Sarah Smith.
No, sorry, it's Ryosuke Hamaguchi. It's his new movie. He actually has 2 new movies coming out this year. I'm very excited about both. One of them is called Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy. The other, which is the one I'm bringing to the table today to try and get excited about, the movie's called Drive My Car. It is Japanese. It's Japanese, and it's Japan's entry into the foreign language category because like every country can send one movie to the academies to be like their submission for the foreign or the international picture, and this is the movie that Japan selected, and I'm very excited for it. It seems to just be about like a sad guy I don't know, doing sad boy stuff. Hamaguchi's last movie was called Asako 1 and 2, and it's wonderful. It's like if Vertigo were a fucking rom-com. It's so good. So I'm really excited about this new movie, Drive My Car.
Well, I mean, those are pretty different. Those.
Did you? Did I trip you up by saying what if Vertigo were a rom-com?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his last movie was that, and it was great. So
okay,
get on board. Get on the Hamaguchi hype train.
That sounds pretty good. Does it bother you a little bit that every country can only send one, while meanwhile America just we get as many as we want? But
it's an American
Hollywood, but
it's an American ceremony, so like it's essentially to honor American films, and they have the international category to like honor films from all over the world. And it's a double-edged sword, because like it's a bummer that countries can only send one movie, because there are countries like Japan where I'm like,
sure,
but then at the same time it helps, because if every country could submit as many movies as they wanted, France would just win every year, because France makes so many fucking good movies. Like France and Japan would just be cleaning up.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
You know what I mean?
Are we still riding that Titan high?
Titan. France's entry for best international feature this year.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh man.
Which like I was like, it won the Palme d'Or, so like they probably should submit it. But then I was thinking about like 2019 when they submitted Les Miserables instead of Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and everyone was like, I'm sorry, why didn't you submit Portrait of a Lady on Fire, the movie we all know and love? So France does some weird shit with the Oscars, and I'm just glad that they went the right route.
I can't wait to see what clip they show.
It's just gonna be like her twerking on the car. That is so funny. What clip are they gonna show at the Oscars for Titan?
What can you show from that? It'll probably be like her holding her dad or something in the bathroom after.
Right. Yeah.
They're
going to pick the most. They're going to be like, okay, find like 5 seconds of usable footage.
It has to be chill.
It can be totally out of context. It could be about nothing. I don't care. But
or maybe the dancing where he picks her up and puts her on her shoulders. Yeah. No, they're going to. That's
Titan.
3 episodes in a row.
I'm never going to stop talking about Titan. Let's close the episode off. Any final thoughts on The Visit? I feel like we talked. This is good. This is a good one. I feel like I got really into it. I'm so happy to be talking about movies I like again.
It is refreshing.
Yes.
I don't really have anything else to say. Just thank you for listening.
Please do leave a review on iTunes. Follow us. Give us some positive reviews. You can follow us on Instagram at Film School Dropouts Pod, and on Twitter at film_school_pod. God, that's hard to say. I should change that. We're also on Facebook. Next week we're talking Split. We're going to split it up with James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy. It's going to be great.
Nice. Can't wait.
Yes. All right, man. Well, we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. See ya.
Yep, bye.